Hello, hi there. So, today I want to do a quick demo on my recently built AI agent that are supposedly can behave goodly for shopping assistant because I've been recently doing some of the shoppings uh, and get some of the frustrations during the process. So I'm thinking of I can use my recently learned AI knowledge to build a really simple proof of concept product that actually can have some meaningful recommendation and suggestion to users. So what I did is I used the Shokz Canada's store data for most of their products, and also I've been querying also some of their other informations. For example, their stories, their I think one thing I find most useful is their guides because they do contain a lot of the good information. I think it's meaningful when customers are not familiar with the specific brand or even like the concept. For example, shops mostly do the bone conduction headphones. So they do if so there will be some meaningful articles if they have some of the safety concerns or anything else. Yeah, so likewise, I'll scrape some of the data along with the product data because I know it's a Shopify. Since it's a Shopify website, we can easily get their data from this API endpoint. Yeah, and so loading the product data, loading the other informations, I mean branding informations, products, scientific informations, we can then easily build a vector database. And then I build a basic AI agent, the React AI agent workflow that are mm, that are decide itself whether you have to querying the tools and then getting the response. So I'll do a quick demo first, and then I'll go into more details about how to actually set them up. I think, but I think I'll just go over following the README so that we got a better sense of how to actually use it and how to get started. So now we're at the folder of my project. And I think first of all is because I'm using the LangGraph LangChain framework, it's suggested that we better use the Python 3.11, and that's what I'm using right now, as you can see. So let's start. Let's first by building a virtual environment for Python because I don't want to messing up my Python environment, and then activate this. Then essentially activating this environment, and then install all the requirements from the repo. And while I'm installing, I'm just going to quickly go through some of the later setting up process because I already set it all up. I already have an file here, which containing most of my, because I'm using Anthropic Claude, so I'm going to using the Anthropic API key. But you can, I think, based on LangChain and LangGraph, they have a detailed documentation. You can use anything you like. So you can either use OpenAI, DeepSeek, even, or some other models, LLM models. Then I think this one is optional. You can either set up the landsmith or not, but this will pretty much record and also log each of your conversation. And also don't forget, if you want to do the demo as I will show right after, you probably want to, because I'm using Mac and I already have my Docker desktop installed. And after that, then I can launch the LangGraph Studio, which going to be the main portal where I was going to be doing most of the demo. Yeah, so I already set it all up, and now I'm in my virtual environment on my Python. So I'm gonna go, yeah, I'm gonna go to create my vector database. So vector database is where I'm gonna load and also embed the product and the other informations I mentioned before on the either on the website into so literally the embedding method, the embedding is going to convert this data, for example here, the product data, which I've been pulling as a JSON format from the API I just showed. I think I showed in here. Yep. So we'll load this data and trying to calculate the meaning of it into vectors. So that's what I did over here. So I'm gonna do that real quick. But trying to know what I did here. Sorry, I think I missed. I'm just using this version. It works better for me. So I'm gonna I probably should cd into studio data. Okay, so now I'm under the data and I'm gonna run the load products. Not sure why. Yep, so I'm gonna run the load product. So what actually doing under the hood is it's gonna extract all those data from the product data that I showed into the database that we initialized, the vector database, and using an embedding algorithm, an embedding method, to transform it into vectors. So all of them into vectors. And I actually have a demo here so that you can see it more clearly, that these are some of the results I'm getting from the vector database. So for example, if imagine user have a query that I want to buy a headphone for meeting, this will be so the embedding method will think about it and think of this, calculating into a vector and compare the distance was the data set already in the vector database and querying the most distancing, most like the nearest results, right? And I'm giving it returning 5 results. So that's what it's getting me. The first one I recommend me is an open move. I mean, it's a good suggestion. The price is not so high, with many of the details and also even the product URLs. I think it's legit. Open move. And also with the images, it's also correct. So basically give me all that. So these are the product infos. Now I'm gonna load the other data, which are similarly gonna load other data into the vector database as well. So here I want to mention a little bit is here I'm basically going to scraping the web page I feel are useful, that are basically knowledge that are helpful for our large language models, for our Claude agent to understand. For example, here I feel like yeah, this one, are bone conduction headphones safe? This one is basically gonna scrape this page. With, you know, introductions, how does even bone conduction technology works? Are they safe? Are they gonna creating any health issues for me? I think it's quite helpful for, I mean, first-time users or user with at least some of the concerns about the things. So it will scrape all that, transform it, embedding it into the vector database. So now I'm done, already see, you know, and it'll actually break it into chunks. So I actually scraped for a website, but I mean, each one of them store as just one is too much. So I think LangChain itself has good tools that can actually load in the documents and then split the documents into meaningful chunks. So it was 4, but now split. So it's like split every document into 10 pieces. So now it's into 41 chunks. And I also, in this query demo DB, I have a demo of how to query that. So for example, I can query is bone conduction safe, and it'll give me the most relevant 5 result. And I can see that, okay, this is the first one. What is the difference between air condition and bone conduction? Oh, here, right? Yeah, so this is okay. This is a good, relevant, I would say relatively good suggestions. And also here's the second one. How does the bone conduction technology work? I mean, that's also some good knowledge for, good to have for our assistant agent when it needs to consider some of the part to know this first before they can make some suggestions or answers. Then let's go back, because now I already have my DB ready with 2 of the tables also created. One is the products, one is the others, I mean infos, sorry. Then we can have our agent running. The agent, what we'll do is, let me initialize this first. It's quite simple. The agent itself, as I'm initializing the Claude here, I basically initialize the Claude model. I use this Haiku, but you can definitely use whatever you want. And I give it a system prompt. For example, you are Shokz, you are a helpful and conversational shopping assistant. And also I'm giving it 2 useful tools. So you have access to these tools. You have access to either getting the product information or getting other informations if you feel needed. And also other guidelines. For example, what are your overall response should be, and what are the format should be. And also some, yeah, this is just a system prompt. And I initialize the database, then retrieving the products, retrieving the infos. And here, the workflow you can visualize it here by opening the LangGraph Studio. I can just open it again. You can just open it by going through this path, and it will basically compile whatever is inside the studio. So select the studio as the path. But don't forget to create your own environment file for all the API keys. So it will start, it will run, it will compile. I assume it's in Docker. Underlying it's Docker. So that's why you need to install the Docker. And here we go. So let me do, so as I said, it has two tools, but I think the most interesting part of this React, I think it's called React. I don't know why they call that. It's really similar to the front end React, but React LangChain. Yeah, so it's basically a React model. It's React in the sense that like it's good for the LLM itself to decide what movement it actually want to go, or what flow it actually wanna choose itself. So let me go back to here. So this is the React I'm talking about. So system itself, you can see from the start to the end. So this is the start, the entry point, and this is the ending point. You can think of it as each of the conversations. So here's the start when user input something, and the end is when you get some output. User gets some output. So basically, when the assistant getting back to you, when the chatbot is getting back to you. And in the middle, you can see the solid lines, meaning start will always go to assistant. But the dotted lines are the interesting ones, because dotted lines meaning there are some conditions. You can go or not. So assistant, after starting going to assistant, which is definitely going to go to assistant, but assistant going to choose whether go to tools or just end. So, and also the tools, there are actually a lot of tools, but I currently only have two of them, as I said, getting product information or getting other informations. And the assistant, which in my case, it's just the LLM with all the tools, it will get to decide itself. That's why it's an AI agent, because it's proactively and it's also deciding its own movement. Instead of I control it to say, okay, if the user asks this, do that. If the user don't ask this, do something else. It actually analyze and decide itself whether it will retrieve the product information or retrieve other informations when itself deem is necessary, and return to the user. That's when it's end. When it feels like, okay, I don't need to call any tools. So just a quick demo here. For example, I just say a simple hello. You see step by step. The assistant actually don't call any tool. It directly end. Like I said here, start, assistant, and end. So it says me some general hello response. Yeah, which is, I feel it's okay. And what else do I want to go? Say I am looking for headphones. So this time it actually calling the tool itself, the system feel like. So it go and you can see that starting from here, the system going to call for headphone. It's searching for headphones. and going to the tool. The tool actually return is similar format as we did querying the vector database. It gave me recommendation. Open move again with all the other details and things. So the system found the two options. Yeah, and also going back to me. So the system only called the retrieve products tool. It didn't go and find any other informations because that's another tool. So it only called one tool and give me two recommendations, I mean, which are pretty good, and also gave me some really concise response as I told it to do in the system prompt. It gave me a little bit knowledge. And yeah, I'd like to know more. Can I think this time I want to call the tool for other informations. I want to say, yeah, let me try to search, let them search whether it's safe. I'll not say safe. Safe is so obvious. I'll say is bone conduction headphones healthy? Because they should understand my meaning instead of trying to exact match the safe word. So let's see what it actually did. So starting from here is the bone conduction headphone healthy, and it's getting informations. So the LLM itself actually converts my questions into some relatively similar words. So bone conduction headphone, health, benefits, safety. Yeah, I actually understand now. Okay, this is safety. And what are the retrieved informations? Yeah, so it actually give me the source, which are our bone conduction headphone safe. And it gave me all mostly that, right? And that would be super helpful. And that would be some factual data and the data that if I'm the retailer, if I'm Shokz sales, I would love this agent to actually showing this factual data. So instead of, I mean, not really factual. I mean, retailers can't lie, but that's the informations I want to show to my customers instead of Claude just hallucinating. Yeah, so it gave me all of those features. But I mean, it also have some empathy. It gave me some other things. I feel like this is actually quite good. Its only problem is it's a little bit too much. Imagine for a tiny chat box, this will occupy the entire conversation page. But I mean, it's good. It's better than the one. It's actually better than the bottom showing that I'm using in Shokz itself. Because, for example, let me try something. Let's try. Yeah, that would be interesting. Let's try the bot on the website with the one that we actually built, and let's see how they behave. I mean, mine is definitely less function, so I'm only gonna comparing how it's recommending the products. Sounds good? So I'm gonna type in the same thing. I think first hello, because that's what I actually did, right? Okay, give me a name. So yeah, give me something like that. Welcome to Shokz. So I'm gonna say I want to look for actually I'm gonna say it less obvious. I'll say I'm mostly swim. And I want to buy a headphone for my Zoom meetings. I mean, I'm not tricking the chatbot. That's just some normal things that people will say, I think. And I'm gonna say the same thing. So we'll query the data. So, but this time we don't see all that. We just see the end results, which is the here. Yeah, and here actually give me two things. A little bit weird format, but it works, and that's what they were recommending. I don't know why it gave me a refurbish, but I'll take it. I think it's open swim, so it's good. Maybe I don't load that many data as they did. So I have the open swim. Yeah, it's completely waterproof. So you understand what my meaning is. This is a good suggestion. This is also good because I mean the second one it gave me, okay, it has water resistance. It's not waterproof, but at least it get the sense. And it gave me a compare. This is specifically designed for swimming, but might not ideal for Zoom. And this is water resistant and more versatile, including Zoom meeting. Yeah, I think the I think my question's a little bit tricky in terms that when you swim, it's hard to find a waterproof one that are mostly specifically for swimming, and also having an ability to do Zoom meetings. Because for some of that, I remember you have to had a like a speaker for it, and also this is what it gave me. This I see actually relatively bad in the sense that the second one, which is an open meet, it gave me. This one, I don't think it's waterproof, but it actually says that these two models will cover both my swimming and Zoom meeting requirements, which are not correct. This doesn't even say it has waterproof or water resistant. So I'm gonna ask him, but open meet is not waterproof or water resistant, right? How about let me, this is hard to replicate. How about let me also ask this? I don't want to say, but can I say open meet is water, not water. So, and maybe it will request on the product. So it will say things like, you give me open swim. Yeah, I think there's still some, yeah, because because it didn't have the context of me saying open meet, so it still assume what I'm saying is open move. But I think this is something that definitely we can work on for sure. But yeah, I think it also has some good part is it then later find out, okay, open meet is not waterproof or water resistant at all. Yeah, this is something. I think another thing I want to try is our similar, right? Our what was the question we asked again? Did we ask before? Yeah, is bone conduction headphones healthy? It takes years, literally. Yeah, I mean, it can still give good results about that. Yep. Yeah, because it's hard to test. I mean, either way, because I don't know the underlying logics. Because I have a confidence. I mean, at least for us, the knowledge part, we can do as good as them. Because I know for sure. Like I have a confidence. It's our grabbing all the correct sources. Because I can see what's going on under the hood. But it gives me better recommendation as well. Um, for it give me even understand me more on what are the things the customer are looking for. Yeah, so this is a quick demo of my projects. I didn't even implement a front end. This is just a proof of concept. But I think it's a funny one, and it's actually an effective one. I think it can be useful for a lot of the thinking of adoption. It's really easy. You just scrape the website, or maybe you need some deeper support with others, and also potentially building some more tools on, for example, more tools on whether the agent can be calling, and also some other pre-steps on giving it some context on the cells, or later afterwards steps on reviewing to see whether the system actually doing a good job, or some other process of monitoring whether the customer is feeling good or not, and also based on that, uh, giving some good going back, or maybe based on that changing the behaviors. There are a lot of potentials that can be built on top of this, and I think overall it's interesting. It's exciting. Yeah, thanks for listening to all that, and see you next time.